Rob Square.
Oh, we're back. I was wondering where you're at. Brody Rob.
It's been a while since I did Rob Square. I've been doing Rob's Ranks.
Oh, you're right. You're
Rob
right.
Square.
I didn't even know
We're
it.
back, baby. NFL in May. All right,
This
let's
is me paying my admission to the pool so I can dive in. You're already sitting there like,
oh, I'm already in the water, half drunk.
Yeah, you called me, say, hey, Rob, come meet me at the pool.
I've already pissed in that pool.
And I was trying to pay my admission to get into the pool. Yeah, you've already pissed a couple times.
Real quick, let's take a deep breath. Let's take it all in, okay? Just getting ready to take all this in.
Excuse me, sir. This is private property. What are you doing?
Just taking it all in.
You're staring at my daughter's bedroom.
She's really grown into her body. This is going to be a fun summer for her.
All right.
Ready to go. All right.
Oh, you farted.
I do have one little news item that is just kind of funny.
Okay.
Did you hear about the JeMarcus Russell shit that came out?
The former players talking about him?
Well, no,
in
it
terms
was
of
the
his lack of...
Yeah, I think it was most of the front office people, but apparently this happened. Shout out to my boss, John Doppler, by the way. He's the one that told me this. He was, after they drafted him, like during preseason or even I think regular season games, they were giving him tapes to study.
Yeah.
Giving him blank tapes, dude.
Yeah.
And then they asked him about it. He's like, yeah, I got that figured out. Dude, wow. Should have probably gave him those tapes before they drafted him.
Maybe before the $50 million guarantee, yeah.
Man, that's rough.
Well,
you see why he failed. I mean, also he wasn't in shape, but like obviously if you're not studying tape, you're not taking care of your body, you're not doing shit. So, because we both watched his college film, it looked pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
great.
Good enough to be number one.
Yeah, for sure. He had an arm and a half.
Better version of Dante Culpepper.
But to me, that's just enabling from the franchise. Like you're letting him act like that.
Yeah.
If you're going to hand the guy $50 million a check for $50 million before he plays a single snap, you better make sure that he's going to be understanding shit, right? Like,
how big do you think he is right now?
Oh man.
Does he make me look like Christina Aguilera?
I'm sure he's probably worth still $20 million, so I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck.
Well, I get that, but what about his health?
I don't think he gives a fuck. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, JeMarcus, but we had to poo on you, which you deserve to be pooed on because you were a scrub. But enjoy your money. You're doing better than us.
Yeah, he's more wealthy than Will Ever.
Well, it's just one of the many mistakes the Raiders have made. That's what they do.
Well, his mistake too, because look at the contracts now.
Yeah, look what he could have made. We just needed one more contract.
$50 million guaranteed. Like if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're making $50 million a year.
Right. All right. So this is the we're gonna kind of wrap up the draft here, just in terms of. This isn't quite fantasy, but there'll be a little fantasy talk. This is the NFL winners and losers in terms of teams.
All right.
I got 3 winners here. I got an honorable mention for that as well. And I have 2 losers. Harder to gauge the losers at this point. It's definitely easier to gain the wit. But again, we will say these are winners and losers, but we still don't know. It's more just about value and kind of like you don't fuck it up, right?
Well, we're talking more fantasy, so right?
Yeah. Well, I just want to talk just because this is gonna go into fantasy based on good teams,
sure,
or teams that maybe are on the upswing or who's on the downswing, right?
Sure.
So my honorable mention for the winners is this is a weird one. It's the Titans.
Okay.
Crazy because they traded AJ Brown.
Yeah.
But what I see them doing is they're kind of rebuilding and still staying relevant.
All right.
Because they kind of drafted Traylon Burks, who is essentially going to be an AJ Brown comp. That's what his comp was.
Do you think he's best talent?
No, I don't. But they didn't want to pay AJ Brown because AJ Brown is an injury risk.
Yeah.
And I like AJ Brown a lot. He's just not ever going to be a polished receiver, and they're a running team. They still got 2 years of Derrick Henry left, right? At least one of like prime. The guy's a monster.
Well,
so
assuming his foot's all right.
Right, but I mean, he came back last year. Looked okay in the playoff game. Whole year to heal. That guy he's a superhuman.
Sure.
So they did that, and then why I have him on here is my love for Malik Willis. They got him like middle 3rd round.
All right.
So they have Tannehill still in place. They can Willis is a project. Needed to rest him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it gives them hope to possibly have a franchise quarterback I know we quarterback draft, but I'm saying he was drafted like 3rd or 4th of the quarterbacks. He was the most talented.
Where did they draft him at?
Middle 3rd.
Okay.
He was projected to go as high as 4th overall.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's value, dude. And like a perfect spot for him. Learn behind Tannehill, even if Tannehill says
why does that make him a winner this year?
No, it's just as a franchise. I'm just saying they're a winner. They're not necessarily a winner this year. I'm just saying for the draft in general, I like what they did.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that when you lose AJ Brown.
Yeah.
But they did get a somewhat decent replacement for him. They already have Robert Woods in place, so they got a better situation than they had last year because Julio didn't play.
Yeah.
And Mike Vrabel, that team's always gonna be competitive.
I agree. Yeah.
So I just like the fact that if Willis hits a 3rd round draft capital is amazing.
You think he'll hit this year?
Oh no.
Okay.
This is more of just a broader spectrum for this pick,
okay.
right? That's why I have an honorable mention.
Okay. Yeah.
I kind of like the fact.
So my general, just rush over real quick.
Yeah.
I agree with you that losing AJ Brown was not as detrimental as people may make it seem, because they're not. I think they can compensate, especially with someone like Robert Woods. I think Robert Woods can make up AJ Brown's production. Maybe not what he did in terms of the field stretching, but
he's a pro.
But I don't think that was their strength. Either way.
No, they're ground and pound, man.
They still have Derrick Henry,
Mm-hmm.
most versatile, most unique running back in the league. So,
all right, my number one. I'm gonna go. Let's go 3-1. I'll go number 3 first.
Okay.
So my 3rd best winner here is the Eagles. So I can see both these teams winning in this because the Eagles are, believe it or not, in win now mode.
Yeah.
And somehow they made the fucking playoffs last year, which is crazy because their best weapon was a rookie wide receiver.
Division.
Bad division. Well, I mean, Cowboys were decent last year. So the rest of it, they won the division.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, and I'll tell you why they're winners. They got, as much as I say it doesn't hurt Titans losing AJ Brown. This is big for their build because Jalen Hurts is not an on-time passer. He needs a guy
Tannehill's an accurate passer.
Yeah. AJ Brown is a guy that can turn a 2-yard little slant, go to the house.
Sure.
Right? He's a guy that takes the top off the defense. He's a guy that's a monster in terms of breaking tackles and yak. And just another weapon to where you got to put 2 guys on him. They had Devontae Smith. Sucks for Devontae Smith's fantasy outlook, but in terms of real life right here, we don't know.
Well, it depends on what Hurts does.
Right, if he starts passing a lot.
If he starts throwing 55% accuracy instead of 48, whatever.
The sad thing is that the Eagles could have just had Justin Jefferson instead of fucking Jalen Reagor, and then they wouldn't have to do this. But what did they give up, really? I mean, they gave up the 18th pick in the draft. But they also traded up. They had 2, I believe, in the 1st round, but they got Jordan Davis, defensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, monster from Georgia. He is 6'6", 340. I know it's just combine stuff, but he ran like a 4.5.
Yeah.
Like some crazy
I think
number.
For defensive, that's
like he's fast.
That's substantial.
300. He's Keith Trailer, but he's like like almost the speed of Brian Urlacher. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
He's just the highlights I watched of him, dude. He's just mauling people and like that.
So you like the Eagles this year, huh?
I mean, they were good enough last year, and believe it or not, they won 9 games.
Okay.
So,
I think
they're better. Sure.
Horrible
I think they're as good as the Cowboys right now.
Yeah.
So I still would probably take the Cowboys if I in a vacuum. Like doing those. If I use vacuum.
For what reason? Real quick.
I just like Dak over Hurts.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But every other position group, Eagles.
I think their defense is equal. So I guess we just have to see what their offense looks like.
Sure. All right.
But they also had a couple other nice picks here in the 2nd round at 57. They took Cam Jurgens. He's supposed to be a really good center.
All right.
Just something they needed. They had a little bit of some leaky shit on the offensive line.
Sure, they did. Yeah.
And then they got an 83 overall. They got a linebacker, Nakobe Dean. Everything I read, he's a pro-ready player. So they gave up a lot of draft capital to
sounds like
AJ Brown.
They didn't
hit home runs.
They didn't forget about defense,
right,
which is what they needed.
Right.
I think like the offense. I remember a couple times we were talking about the bets between the Eagles and like the Bucks. Like, all right, maybe there's playoffs actually. Can the Eagles keep up with the Bucks in terms of playoffs, in terms of scoring rather, and obviously they can score like crazy. So it's the defense.
They actually made that game pretty tight in the playoffs last
year
against the Bucks.
They covered for sure. They covered.
I mean, it was a 7-point.
It was like a 14.5 point spread.
Yeah, I think they lost by 4.
Yep.
All right, number 2, at the Ravens. Now,
really,
this is crazy because they traded Hollywood Brown, but I'm gonna tell you the reason that the winners here.
Sammy Watkins.
No, they got rid of Sammy Watkins because they're going back to their roots. Their roots is running the ball, right?
All right.
And the roots is defense. And the roots is Lamar. I know Marquise Brown had a good year last year, but like Lamar doesn't really lift up his receivers. It doesn't matter if you have an A receiver group with him. They have Mark Andrews already, obviously, because they're one, or a C receiver group with him because they're not going to pass the ball very much and very efficiently. So I have written down here just value. They got guys that were projected and should have gone way higher, and they didn't reach for anyone. They only got value. So they already have 2 good safeties. And 14th overall, I took his name's Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame.
All right.
And he ran apparently a really slow 40, like 4.6 something.
He's
a big, he's a big boy, like 6'4", 220. I kind of have a Cam Chancellor, like Cam Chancellor comp.
That's
but
locker.
Yeah, right. But Cam Chancellor wasn't very good at coverage. This dude's a coverage man, so he's almost like an Ed Reed, just slow Ed Reed, but that can pop people. 220, dude.
All right.
And he's pro ready, and he was supposed to be. I know safeties are really devalued, almost like running backs. Like it's all about corners now in the draft.
Yeah.
But he was supposed to be a top 7, top 8 pick. They got him at 14, and it wasn't necessarily even a need. But in the NFL, you can get creative. You can play 3 safeties, like just
build around if you can get a generational
take talent,
player,
dude. Yeah. Guy that's ready to play right now. He's gonna make an impact right away,
especially if you get value.
And I know the Ravens know to utilize unique players. They've always done it, dude. They
play man coverage, so you want a guy that like the Ravens are only man coverage all the time. That's why I was so like during the season when they lost their top 3 corners and the top 2 fucking safeties.
Yeah,
like in their main linebacker. I'm like, all right, well, they play man coverage. There's no way that they're going to be able to guard anyone to keep up, but they did it. I mean, so I like it. Yeah.
And the thing is, they lost. They had so many injuries last year, and they still won, I believe, 9 games. And they lost, their top 3 running backs. Yep. They lost everyone, man. They were their defense.
Yeah, the whole
rough.
defense. Yeah.
So they're with the Brown trade, the Marquise Brown trade. They got a center, which doesn't sound sexy. A guy from Iowa, and he's supposed to be very pro ready. And they were thinking about taking him with the 14th pick or whatever they had. I think they traded down, maybe they had 17.
Yeah.
But they moved back. They moved up to get the 14th pick. And they got the 25th pick for Marquise Brown, and they got that guy at 25.
Oh, shit.
So, again, value. He was supposed to be top 16 pick. I know it's mock drafts, but it's consensus. That's where most people had him on their board.
When they did the Marquise Brown trade, was it all right, we're up next?
I think it was right there,
the guy's right there, so we'll get fuck Marquise Brown.
Man. And that hurts Lamar.
How important? Okay, but to your point, how valuable is that guy to him?
Yeah,
he's
running team.
First day starter. He has to be.
Day 1, 100%.
Has to be.
Yeah, definitely ready and a very versatile. He's a guy that can.
It's on him now. Yeah.
Yep. And then they just had a couple other guys. Number 45. I didn't know much about this guy until I started doing research for this. But number 45 overall, David Ajobu, linebacker from Michigan. Apparently, he was a consensus top 15 player in the draft. Tore his Achilles in the pro day, which hurts. But with what we saw with Cam Akers, he came back, and that's a running back.
Yeah.
Came back the same year. So I don't know how viable he'll be this year, but I can see him being on the field. Yeah. In general, they're taking value. This is the 45th overall pick, a guy that was the number 2 linebacker prospect.
Yeah,
just one injury. I know it's Achilles. Don't get me wrong.
Well, no, I like what you're saying because if Cam Akers, I like what you're saying, but also the point I want to make is that Cam Akers can come back and play 2 downs every 3rd possession, right? Where if you're expected to be a impactful middle linebacker, you're out there 50 plays, right? So
I think it was just too much value for them to pass up.
Yeah, so if he comes back halfway through,
and even week 16,
75%, and he's 20% better than the guy before him, you're getting the value for sure.
Number 76, Travis Jones, UConn. I guess this guy has character issues, but defensive tackle. It was supposed to be a first-round pick.
Right.
Again, these are all just where they were projected to go with mock drafts.
Yeah.
They just got him so late.
Sure.
And this guy I was reading about, number 110, Daniel, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Daniel Falele. 6'8", 384 offensive lineman. Dude, 384, 6'8". He was an Australian rugby player. So apparently he's how are you playing rugby at that size?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it just...
What position?
Offensive tackle. So left tackle. So that guy's a mauler, dude. So if they get the maulers in their O-line, man, I don't know. It's hard to say it's crazy that they won the draft with trading Marquise Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But they just got players that are going to be playing for them that are ready to go day 1. again, don't hold me to this, but
Well, honestly, what was your opinion on Hollywood Brown? Like,
he's a one-dimensional player,
yeah, he wasn't.
and they have Rashad Bateman. You know,
Was he
They have-
worth a first-round draft pick?
Probably not.
No.
I think the Cardinals did it mostly to make Kyler happy.
Yeah.
Play together in
Yeah.
college.
Plus, I think they need they lost Kirk.
Right.
I think they needed a deep play guy like that. They need to make I think that was more of a desperation move from the Cardinals than it was. I think the Ravens definitely made out on it.
Yeah.
Especially if the center
Right. Right.
is as talented.
Yeah,
as
it's not the
him.
sexy thing that fans are going to want, right? You're like, oh, you lost this.
Until
this
you're
Hollywood guy
until
named
you're in
Hollywood
the
that's a wide
conference
receiver.
championship.
There you go. All right, number one team. This is crazy to say. Blasphemy, New York Jets. And it's easy to say how they were the winners because they had 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
But the Jets always fuck that up. And not just Jets. New York teams always fuck that up.
Sure.
And the Bears probably would have too. But they did not fuck this up.
How
Now,
so?
number one, their first pick, 4th overall, Sauce Gardner, the number 1 corner. I'm a little lukewarm in that pick. Just putting that much. He better be Jalen Ramsey.
Have
Have
you
I'm saying?
what
I've watched him.
what do you
He's big. He's fast. He's a ball hawk. I think he's a day 1 starter for sure. I don't know. You know, Jalen Ramsey came in and dominated right away. So, and Jalen Ramsey, I believe, was like 16th overall. So, the cornerbacks generally are ready to play right away.
Yeah.
He was an SEC guy.
I would
believe,
hope so. If he's a top.
Right. I'm saying like that position in general, like the
No,
top 8
yeah.
guys that are drafted at quarterback, they usually come in and play right away, opposed to tight ends and the other positions that take longer. But I think they address the need there because it's
Does
the
this
NFL.
guy have a nickname? The
Sauce? That's
Okay.
his nickname.
So
Ahmad Gardner, I believe. Is his
all
name.
right. So I'm stealing this from Rich Eisen.
Uh-huh.
He is a Jets fan.
Yeah.
And he said, and I agree with him. It resonated with me when he said this. He said, "We don't need I know that Miami went and traded. They got Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
And who else is in the division? It's the Patriots, the Dolphins,
Bills.
the Bills. Bills went out and got they got someone too. No.
Oh, their first pick was Elam, a corner from.
They didn't get another receiver.
No, they have Gabe Davis.
Either way, so
Davis Crowder.
So, Rich Eisen was referencing the Tyreek Hill to Miami.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying the Jets would go out and get so and so, AJ Brown or whomever, right?
Yeah.
And Rich Eisen was like, no, I want the guy that can guard Tyreek Hill. I want the guy that can
Right.
guard Jalen Waddle. I want the guy that's saying, hey, I'm going to man up. He's like, I want
Right.
the sauce.
Yeah. Right.
And so I didn't know that they had actually drafted, but I tend to agree with him. I want the guy that's going to say, no, I want the Jalen Ramsey. I want the Richard Sherman. I want the Revis. I want the Revis Island. Let me say, I'm going to take away Tyreek Hill for the whole game. Now Tua beat us with whomever you have, right?
Mike Gesicki or some shit.
Chase Edmonds and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
And
Maybe your boy Myles Gaskin.
Maybe they have
Split him out wide,
they have
5'9".
8 fucking running
They
backs
do.
now.
They do.
Well,
And the crazy thing about Sauce is he was the number 1 cornerback prospect this year.
Good, I like that.
And the
I like
Texans
it.
actually
I'm
took Derek
for it.
Stingley Jr., number 3. He's also a good player, but they actually took another guy ahead of Sauce.
A corner?
Yeah, at 3. That's Lovey, probably fit in Lovey's system, right? He wants to play the table too. Yeah, something like that. That guy is bigger. All right, and then number 10. So they had 4, 10, and 26, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But at 10, they got Garrett Wilson. And he wasn't the first receiver taken off the board. Drake London went 8, and Garrett Wilson's the best receiver in this class. Most all-around
So they
player.
got their Tyreek Hill
Yeah, they got their
in the draft, and they're paying him pennies,
Mhm.
and they got their Revis. All right.
So I
I
like
like
that.
it.
It's also
So
really
far, so
good.
good.
The best part I like about this pick is, they're not in win now mode, but what they are in is we need to understand and see if we can develop and see what we have with Zach Wilson.
Sure.
And what better way to do that when you already have Elijah Mitchell, right? Now I'll get to the running back that took later, but they already have Elijah Mitchell. Now you have Garrett Wilson. I mean,
And they got Brees Hall.
yeah, I'll talk about him later. So I'm saying they have.
I'm sorry.
You ruined my thunder. But no,
All right,
they're putting
cancel the show.
They're putting weapons around him, young weapons around him that he can build with. And if he can't succeed this year, maybe early on might be rough. But if he doesn't get his groove going by week 12, week 13, they could. And nowadays in the NFL, 2 years is all you get, right? Josh Rosen got 3 games.
Yeah, you've watched Zach Wilson play, right?
Yes, I like him. I didn't like him
He's a
when he got
gamer.
drafted.
He's a gamer.
You liked him more than me last year.
Yeah.
I came around. I like his talents.
Well, he
I
can win
feel
games.
like he got better, too.
He can win games for you.
Yes.
Like
yes.
they're like Josh Rosen wasn't going to win. He could lose games for you. Wilson can win games. Like the Jets had no business being in half a dozen games, but they somehow were competitive, right?
Okay, now this next pick is the reason why I have them as number one.
Okay.
Number 26. This guy Jermaine Johnson. I believe he's a character issue guy.
Receiver?
Defensive end,
Okay.
edge rusher. Now, from all reports before the draft, they were targeting him at 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think they assumed that they liked Garrett Wilson. I think they assumed he wasn't going to be there. So and he was consensus 3 or 4 in terms of edge rushers. 3 of the first 5 picks were edge rushers. So he was the 4th guy, and he ended up being like the 7th or 8th edge rusher taken. He fell.
And this is
So I'm
off
saying-
the Sam Darnold trade, right?
Yes.
Wow.
So that or the second rounder was Sam Darnold, but either way, they were content with taking him at 10, and then he ended up getting him at 26 without trading up.
Yeah.
And whether it's a good pick or not, value, I see value, and the guy's got talent. Whatever his off the field shit is, we don't even know. I mean, the thing is, these guys that don't have off the field issues might just be as troubled as the other guys. They're just good at hiding it, right?
Well, we've all been kids. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how many times as a teenager have you driven drop? Like, I could say off the record, a million fucking times
Right.
I've done it. But like,
Yeah, and
I
that would
never
be
got
considered a
caught.
character flaw.
But if I got caught, all of a sudden, like,
Right.
I have a DUI and my whole life has changed. Same
Right.
with these guys.
Yeah.
They just didn't get caught. They're young kids.
And then they did a lot of stuff later in the draft. I'm not going to get into this. I'm going to talk about their second round pick. They traded up for Breece Hall. I believe they had about 44th or 45th pick in the second round. They traded up to 36 to get him.
No, they 34, I think.
Was it 34? Okay.
Because you told me to make the bet.
Yeah, 35 and a half.
35,
Yeah.
yeah. So they came in at 34.
Yeah.
Pick under.
He's by far the class of this running back class.
Think so? Yeah.
I know so. He's at the very low end. He's Matt Forte. At the high end, he's Jonathan Taylor with hands, and maybe not quite the power back Jonathan Taylor is, but he's a monster, man. He's fast as shit. I don't know if you're watching his highlights. He makes one-handed catches. He's or Joe Mixon, for instance. He's like one of these kind of players, which it's a running back. Say what you will, but they already had Michael Carter, who's solid. So now you got 2 solid backs, and you
Ty
have
Johnson.
a potential. Yeah, Ty Johnson's a 3rd back.
I like that. Yeah.
So they have depth there. He's a game breaker. He's going to take a little pressure off Zach Wilson. If he actually comes out and plays well, they're not going to be able to load the box, or they're not going to be able to play 2 deep safeties. Like it's going to work all around. So I just like what they did there. I know it's pretty high for a running back, but they didn't take him in the first round. They could have very easily taken him at 26, right?
That's the hype around him was a notch below Saquon Barkley. It seemed like, right? Breece Hall would seem to be like the consensus number 1 running back, and the Giants took him at number 2 or whatever.
Yeah, which is just fucking.
But my point is, like, I'm not saying he's Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. All right, losers.
All right.
I got 2 losers here.
All right.
Both in the same division.
Well,
Number 1, I'll go with number 2 first. It's the Bears. It's our Bears, unfortunately. I don't know what they're doing. We didn't do anything on offense at all. So we didn't help Fields. How are we supposed to evaluate Fields when he's throwing to one guy that can play? Cole Kmet's okay. But Darnell Mooney's not a 1. He's tiny. He's going to get all these targets.
we signed the guy that got arrested.
Byron Pringle.
Yeah.
And I love Pringle.
Well,
Once you pop, the fun don't stop. But we don't have a number 1. We barely have a number 2. The guy we drafted in the 3rd round, V.S. Jones, I believe, is like 25 years old, bro. Yeah, he's like comp to Deebo Samuel. I watch his highlights. He can't run a route. And unfortunately, I'm a little alarmed when you're getting drafted at 25. He's older than DJ Moore is. DJ Moore's played 4 seasons in the NFL.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, what?
Well, you'd hope physically he's able. To me, that screams that we're going to lean on Montgomery. We need a big physical body that knows how to block. A guy that knows his role. He's been 4 years in college, so he knows that he's a blocking guy that can pop out, right?
We have 0 chance of winning this year. Right?
No.
Okay, so whatever we're trying to do with our draft picks, all I want to do from this year,
I'm trying to look on the signing shot.
I just want to be able to evaluate, fair evaluation, Justin Fields, good or bad, right? Give him a chance. And we didn't address the O-line.
Yeah.
We didn't address the wide receiver group.
I think we made him all work.
Dude, so it's... the thing is, we could evaluate him positively if he actually plays well. And he plays well with shit. But I don't understand if he plays bad and we're talking about giving up on him. Like, what?
Yeah.
We gave up so much to get him? Like, how can you evaluate the dude?
The Bears made it easy to give up on him. I'll say that. That's my opinion on it. Like, if he excels, with this shit group, thank God. Like, now we have the guy, right?
Right, that's the one.
But if he
he's
does,
probably
like, we
not
have new management coming in, new coaches, new everything.
Right.
So if he doesn't, like, all right, now we're going to be the worst team in the league. Now we get the best quarterback because this was a shitty quarterback draft.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get, who's the guy that I like that was throwing all those passes?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
But we don't want it. We don't need a quarterback. I feel like.
But maybe that's what they're saying.
Right.
Maybe do we or do we not?
Right. They're already throwing the towel in after 5 games or whatever he played.
Well, I think the new management was handcuffed because they're dealing with all the old
Yeah, I
contracts
get it.
and all the old draft
and next
picks.
year we actually have draft capital for the first time.
That's
in
what I'm saying.
8
So
years.
like they're dealing with all that shit. Like, all right, here's your chance. Like, prove it to us that you're worth investing in, instead of, hey, let's, like, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I know we made the playoffs, but was that a product of the Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Giants being so shitty that we kind of fell into the playoffs?
Right.
Like, we were more dynamic maybe because the Cowboys completely fell off in the second half, and they kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's see what we have. Like, do you want to build it? Like, I don't think the Eagles should build around Jalen Hurts yet.
Right. So
Like,
what you're saying?
So the alternative is we trade for AJ Brown. We trade, all of a sudden we draft a receiver with the first round, and now it's do or die. We're all in
I see
on
what you're
this
saying.
guy.
Yeah, we're kind of hedging.
Yeah, because they drafted Hurts with Wentz still there, and then all the management and the coaching staff left. So now the coaches, all right, prove it to us. Hurts made the playoffs. All right, here's your I guess the conference championship.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Okay, the number 1 loser is the Packers. Now they're probably still gonna be winners because that's what they do. But
Rodgers. Yeah.
they can only disrespect this man and all their quarterbacks so many times. And I don't have the names of their guys. They took a linebacker and maybe a defensive end or something with their first 2 picks.
You can only disrespect them so much. I'm not even gonna name the guys they drafted.
No, I'm talking about the
Disrespect.
Yeah. No, the guys they drafted
They
on
are
the
Packers,
defensive end of the
we're
ball.
Bears fans.
Like, they need weapons. And they end up getting Christian Watson at 36 overall, the project, the MVS
Sammy Watkins.
right? They have Sammy Watkins.
No, I know. I know what you're saying.
The problem is they took a project when they're win now mode.
What's exciting about what they've done?
Nothing. And they didn't bring in Jarvis Landry. Bring in Jarvis Landry. Just bring in Jarvis Landry. He's a pro. He's 29 years old.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bring in that guy instead of playing Randall Cobb, right? And all they have right now is Allen Lazard, and they have Amari Rodgers, who didn't play last year because the thing is, Rodgers hates rookies. So, like, you think the guy that's a project that went to fucking North Dakota State, yeah, he's athletic, but, dude.
This might be a Sammy Watkins bet.
Ooh.
I was Sammy Watkins
I don't
last
think
year.
Sammy Watkins is going to make the team.
All right,
I'm not going to bet on that, but I'm just telling you.
All right. Hey, we still have our own bet too.
I just don't like what they did.
No, I agree with you. I agree with
the
you.
thing is, they need to bring in Julio, but like he's not going to play even if they bring him in.
So who is the division?
The Vikings,
right?
It's got to be. I mean, it's not the Lions, although they're going to be feisty, even feistier this year.
I'm not. I was more confident in the Lions to make a splash last year. They disappointed me.
By the way, you know what the Bears win total is right now? I don't want to give away too much because we're going to do that show.
3.5, 4.5?
6.5, dude.
What?
Gotta hammer that under, son.
Yeah.
Dude.
They're not winning 7 games.
I know.
And what world? Like,
at most they win 7. At least they win 2.
I mean, the division is so shitty.
I know, but they're not beating the Packers. Okay, sorry, dude.
Why not? What do the Packers have?
They have Aaron Rodgers still.
And then name the next best player.
Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Robert Tonyan. Good defense. Randall Cobb. Okay, well, yeah. Our best chance to win games are in a division. That's not a good bet though. You know, I mean, I have to know these.
Here's the thing: they
players.
still have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they do.
So,
they do. And that's a tough one. We don't have that.
Definitely.
Now, whether or not he's motivated to play is a different story. He might have that lingering calf issue for fucking 4 weeks this year, right? No, he wants to win. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's an MVP.
Yeah.
Hard to shut on. All right.
If they make the playoffs, he might win another.
We'll be back in a little bit with a fantasy pot here. That's weird.
And it's been a complete joy.